Hey Rick, how'd your pancakes go this morning? I saw your Snapchat video. It looked like that you're finally putting your culinary skills to good use, not the pouring beers, but actually making food.
Yeah, well, I used to do this thing on Snapchat where it was cooking with Ricky, and I would like film myself cooking stuff and like go like step by step, and I was just on Snapchat saying I was going to cook pancakes, and a few of my friends were like, "Hey, do the cooking with Ricky thing again. We need some entertainment." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." So I just I'd already half made the batter, so I kind of stopped, and then just decided to I'm just going to turn my alerts off on Facebook because that's really loud.
Yeah, I heard that come through.
Yeah. Just going to close that tab. Close. There we go. Shouldn't be any more interruptions. Yeah, I already half made the batter. I was like, screw it. I'll just fucking go ahead and do the whole thing. Buddy videotaped it for everyone and chucked it up on Snapchat, and a few people seemed to enjoy it. But yeah, it was my recipe for banana and blueberry pancakes.
Ooh,
very tasty.
Yum.
Oh,
very good.
Yeah, you've been talking up that one for a while.
And I was very much like, yes, you need to use maple syrup, not maple flavored syrup. And yes, there is a difference. There is a massive difference. Actually, I was at the supermarket last night and I was looking for like actual maple syrup. There's none. Of all like the weirdest things that I've seen that are gone from the supermarket, actual maple syrup, gone. Buttermilk, gone. I'm like, what? Are other people just going home making buttermilk pancakes as well? Like, it's just, of all the things like pasta and bread and all that sort of shit that we've had in the last few weeks, I get maple syrup and buttermilk are the two weirdest things I've seen so far that have been absent at the supermarket when I've gone.
So pretty much now it's gone to the point where the panic buying has moved on from toilet paper, paper towels, pasta, bread, to gym gear and alcohol. It's now getting to the stage where everyone is going, fuck it, I want to make pancakes. That's the new panic buying means, of course.
It would appear so. It's odd. It's actually kind of fun going to the supermarket now because look, for the most part, we're all back to normal. Most of the stuff at the supermarket that I need, I can get, but there is still some weird stuff like I said, like buttermilk and actually, because there was heaps of maple flavored syrup there, like the Coles brand or Woolworths brand, just standard, just crappy stuff you get in a plastic bottle, but all of the really nice maple syrups in the glass bottles and the tins, gone. Just none of it left. I'm just like, that's just weird. But yeah, walking around now and just like having a look at like what's missing and like what weird, very specific thing are a lot of people buying all of a sudden. It's quite interesting going to the supermarket at the moment.
I feel like though, like, I mean, I don't know if it's because of the panic buying, or at least not for ordinary Australians, but like, I mean, there's a lot of Canadians that live here, and I imagine all the Canadians were like, oh no, I need to get my pancakes going, and so then they went and they went out and, you know, the Bogans buy toilet paper and the Canadians buy maple syrup, you know, but also it's probably just a matter of logistics. I mean, like the Canadians in Canada are probably, you know, not producing as much, or they're like hoarding it all for themselves. You know what the cartels are like up there. Maple syrup cartels is a thing. That's like it's like the most Canadian thing ever. It's like what's their version of a cartel? Oh, they control the distribution of maple syrup. And with that, welcome to Pint Party, a podcast designed to turn a beer and a chat into a tax write-off. I'm your host, John McLeish, and joining me this week over the interwebs is Ricky Needs and Michael Thompson. Boys, welcome.
G'day.
This is kind of an interesting one. We've never done an online podcast before. It's like, it's something we've always thought we could just do. It's like, oh, it's not that big of a drama. Yeah, of course we could do it, but we've always preferred to do it in person because we like, I mean, part of it is, you know, being there and looking across and looking at the other person and being able to, like, you know, bounce off of each other in just a much more natural way, especially with the way we do our podcast. It's like, it's a beer and a chat. And it's kind of tricky to do that over the internet, but we're changing with the times. We're keeping up, and this is the way we got to do it now. And hopefully, it all turns out okay. Like, please, you know, when you at the end of this episode, you know, we'll tell you to like jump on Insta and tell your friends and stuff. But please let us know how it sounds on your end as well. Like, does this sound okay? Does there anything we need to change? I don't know how the podcast will evolve because we're doing it over the internet now, but like, let's figure it out together.
Absolutely. And the one thing I like too about how everything's changing in this weird world that we live in right now with isolation, quarantining, and learning all the new stuff is what I notice is that technology is being utilized a lot better than it did before we had to go through quarantining and self-isolating and staying home 24/7.
Oh yeah, like my dad's gone full Dick Tracy with like the whole now like him and my sister are now regularly like I mean they always pretty regularly would call each other and talk and stuff like that, but now it's all happening over video chat. Like every single time they want to call each other, it's like always they just video call each other. So like he's sitting there like fucking Buck Rogers in the 25th century, just like sitting there with the tablet and the computer and just like having a face-to-face conversation over the internet. Which is not something he would do before. Like before that, he was just like, well, what do I need all that for? You just use the telephone, or you get in your car and you drive somewhere. So it's people are adapting to new technologies, which I think is really great. Or not even new technologies, I suppose. It's like already existing technology that's just now kind of like seeing its swing in adoption. And speaking of like, taking advantage of already existing technologies, that's something that we here at Pint Party have just recently started doing. So we started a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Pint Party. And so it's just like, I mean, again, because we're all at home, we've all got like a whole bunch of extra free time. We were just like, well, what are some things we can do? And this was like, it was kind of an idea I had just based on what Ricky had already started a Twitch channel. And it was something he was just going to do for shits and giggles, just to like, something to do in his downtime. And it was cool, which is, what's your Twitch again, Ricky?
El Needso, ELNEEDSO.
El Needso, yeah. And that spelling's really important because the first time I tried, you just said it to me, and I went, oh god! And I actually tried like 3 different spellings before I got the right channel.
Yeah, it's literally just like my love of The Simpsons, and Bart, his alter ego is El Barto, and I was like, well, El Rico, it doesn't really have a ring to it, but
no.
El Needso, it's kind of a ring to that. So that's literally the sort of beginnings of that name. And it's been my internet name since I was probably about 14 or 15, ever since personal avatars and that became a thing on the like all over the internet. That's been just my little internet moniker. It's my Reddit handle. It's everything. El Needso, that's me.
It's also your YouTube channel as well, which even though you've got a bit more free time on your hands, Rick, it'd be good to actually see you do a lot more reviews in the meantime, and I wouldn't mind seeing like a video done of you reviewing a couple of the new video games that have come out just in time for the world to quarantine.
Well, that's the thing with video game review. It's really hard to do because you pretty much need to finish the game to get a good idea of what the game like really is. I've only ever reviewed one game on that channel, and I think that was the Halo Master Chief Collections, only because I had such a deep understanding of like Halo lore, and I played all the games, and it was just a re-up and a sort of conglomeration of all the previous Halo games into one spot. Whereas at least with movies, it's a lot easier for me. And I've actually got a couple of ideas for how I'm going to review movies in the meantime while none of the movies are coming out. So maybe keep an eye out for that. And that's on my other YouTube channel, which is just my name. But yeah, reviewing games is like, you need to sit down and spend the hours playing and then come back and like take everything that you remembered, and like some games can last like 100+ hours, and take all of those feelings and everything that you sort of remembered from that 100-hour long gameplay, and then condense it down to like a 5-minute video or a 3,000 to 4,000 word article. It's a really, really hard thing, and like the good video game reviewers are very, very good at it. And I'm just kind of like, I just don't have the time to like A, absorb the material, and then B, regurgitate that back to an audience as well as I do with movie reviews. Because movie reviews is like, you sit there for 2.5 hours maybe, and then usually I am going out and either whether it's on, I used to do it on YouTube, or whether it's still on radio with you, Michael, it's like, it's only like not even 24 hours later, I am pushing back, I guess, and sort of regurgitating my feelings about a movie, because it's not that hard to do. Like it's the really good movie reviewers are very good, and they will take a little bit of extra time and like really collate their thoughts. But I'm very much a reactionary, how I'm feeling in the 24 hours since I've seen a movie kind of review. And that's usually sort of, I feel it resonates with a lot of people more. Like some people do want to sit there and listen to that, 30-hour bloody video essay. Whereas I'm very much like, I can probably give you a good idea of what a movie's like in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and the good thing that Ricky is so good at doing on Yang and Tomo, which you can listen to every Friday from midday on Southern FM, is that he's good at detailing certain scenes in the movie he's just seen, the ones that stick out to him like a sore thumb.
Yeah. And yeah, I try my best to like just, and like I know you like me to do scores, but outside of the radio sphere, I don't like giving scores to movies, because I feel like that's all people are waiting for in a review. Whereas if I give you a review, by the time I finish speaking about that movie, you should know whether or not you are going to go and enjoy this movie or not.
Mhm.
Like my words alone, not necessarily a score at the end of it, should be enough for you to like sort of work out, oh, this movie sounds like a good one that I would like to watch.
Yeah, and especially like, I mean, when it comes to video game reviews as well, it feels like the audience isn't really super receptive to a game review anymore. What people want is more of that sort of like reactionary in the moment type of a style of gameplay. And that's like, I mean, and that's covered really nicely through like a Let's Play or a live stream. It's like, as the person's playing the game, you can see how they're feeling at certain moments and certain beats, thematic beats throughout the game. And that's even more critical for things like a Final Fantasy game. Like, I remember back in the day when I was working for an outlet, and what was it? Final Fantasy. I think it was 13 had just come out. Final Fantasy 13 had just come out, and with Lightning and all her gimmicks, and it was sort of like, okay, cool. Like, all right, let's get a review of that out as quick as humanly possible. And the person who was in charge of reviewing it was like, dude, I'm like 30 hours in and we're still in the tutorial. It's like, and it genuinely is like that. Like, I picked up Final Fantasy 13 a few years ago and had a go at it, and I was like, oh my God, he's not kidding. Like 30 hours in and we were still in the tutorial. Like, still, it was like introducing new features and being like, hey, here's this new thing you can do. It's sort of like, I've been playing you now for 2 days straight. Like, how are you still giving me new things? Like, why didn't I have this before? Oh my God.
Now, I'm getting back into the whole gaming, playing a lot of my games. I'm actually at the moment going through so the one thing I like about the Xbox One is that they released last year remastered COD 4, which is still one of my favorite Modern Warfare games of all time. I'm waiting for COD 6 to come out too on the Xbox One, so fingers crossed for that one. But for you two who are more the hardcore gamers than what I am, what are some games or what are some things that I should look at when I'm like YouTubing maybe some reviews for games, or if there's a game that is out on the market right now, like what should I be looking for to sort of keep my mind occupied for the next 6 to 8 weeks?
I like how you said you're not a hardcore gamer, but you just called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 COD 6, and that's only a thing I hear in the hardcore community. like honestly, like the last time I heard somebody refer to Modern Warfare 2 as COD 6 was when I used to go to 24-hour LANs, and all we would do is play COD all night. Like, that's just what we did, and we would just drink Thai Red Bulls and just be like crazy 15-year-olds. So
better days.
Yeah. Oh, those were oh my God, those were some insane days. I do miss those days though. Like, I do miss hanging out with those lads. Like, it was kind of fun. It was also once we found a really good internet cafe, and I knew we'd found a good one because they had clean toilets. And I was like, yes, this is the internet cafe we are going to from now on. And the only reason why we stopped going is because when Black Ops 2 came out, they didn't have it day one. And one of my mates he was like the guy who would always set up the LANs. It was like his whole thing. Was like, nope, screw this. We're not going there. We're going to this other place. And we went to this joint in the city, and like, it was good, but it didn't have clean toilets, and I missed the clean toilets. But as far as like what to look out for, Michael, in terms of like games and stuff, I mean, it's kind of a broad question. There's so many things you can do in video games, and it really depends on what you want. Like, for example, like my sister never thought of herself as a gamer. She never thought, I'm not really into video games. And what she realized was, it's not that she didn't like video games. She just didn't like the video games that I like to play. And I was the only person that she would ever see play video games. And she thought that the games I played were all the video games that they really were. Like, that was just what video games were. And, I like playing first-person shooters. I like playing strategy games and things like that. And those are just not her thing. And then she discovered, oh my God, there's this whole other world of video games out there that I really like. Like, at the moment, she is hardcore into Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like, she is playing that like a mofo and absolutely loving every single second of it.
Apparently, it sold out ridiculously quickly as well during the pre-sales, Animal Crossing.
I mean, it was a popular game series to begin with.
Yeah, well, it was on the GameCube, then there was the DS version. But now, like, I think it was something like, of all the releases on the Switch. It was the highest release, I think, in Japan.
Yeah.
I think it beat out the Mario games and Pokemon. It was like the highest. And it was like it's up there, top 5 releases for North America, Europe, here. It's massive. And like I've never played a bloody Animal Crossing game, but I've now bought it. I'm waiting for it to show up. I got a delivery because I don't want to go into an EB Games right now.
Oh, bloody hell.
It's on its way, and a bunch of people that I know have all already got around it, and I'm going to be like, okay, I'll come and join you on your island or whatever. But all the stuff, like, so one of my friends sent me this yesterday, and because I asked her, like, what do you do in Animal Crossing? And she sent me this meme of like someone like me just being like, I've asked 3 people what you do in Animal Crossing, and all of their responses have been just vibing. I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds like something I could do. I could just vibe in a video game. Like, one of them sent me a fucking snapshot of her in her aquarium, and there's just like this peaceful, serene music playing and just animals swimming in the aquarium, and her character is just standing there watching, and then she in turn is watching her character watch the animals swim around the aquarium. And just like, it's like right now I could use a little bit of just a little bit of
chill
and quiet and just vibe, man.
Yeah.
Like, that seems to be like the whole point of the game, is just create your own little community. It's kind of like a mix of like The Sims and Minecraft, because you have to craft and build, and then people can come and visit your community. You can make friends with people. So I'm like, I could definitely see a lot of people right now being in the mood for something like that. And because it does have the online social element of people can come and visit your island, because we can't go and visit each other right now. That's seemingly the next best thing.
Yeah,
I kind of see it a little bit as like Nintendogs, like how popular that was when the DS first came out. Like every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every kid was buying Nintendogs because they want to have their own virtual dog.
Yeah, and now everybody wants to have their own virtual island, and that's exactly it. And like, yeah, the creativity that Animal Crossing gives you is. I remember that was one of the reasons. I remember when the Animal Crossing game was on the Nintendo DS. This is years and years and years ago now. It was one of the reasons why I actually really wanted to get a DS, because Animal Crossing allowed you to like make your own outfits, with with a little like paint program and stuff. And I thought that's freaking awesome. I want to do that. And I've been seeing some real, like, I mean, I don't own a Switch, so I can't play Animal Crossing, but like I've been enjoying it tangentially because I've been watching people like publish their creations online, and like you see them pop up on Reddit. And one of my favorite ones most recently is somebody made all of the Star Trek uniforms from like all the TV shows and the movies, and they can't publish they can't put out like the QR code thing yet because they haven't unlocked that ability, but they've just taken screenshots of like the mannequins wearing all of these things and being like, yo, here's what's up. And the whole Star Trek community has just been like, oh my god, I want this for my island. But like some of that levels of creativity is just crazy, especially because in the comments for that, people were like, how did you do this? How did you do that? And then he'd post screenshots from the editor of being like, here's how I did this and here's how I did that. And it's really created like outside of like your immediate friendship circle, which is what Animal Crossing actively promotes, is like having your friends over and stuff like that. But even outside of that, into like a wider sort of community aspect, there are these sort of, there are these features there that I feel like are really bringing people together in a really great way. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I never really sort of understood why there was all this hype. But now that I've seen it, I'm like, okay, the hype is real. The hype, I'm all about it. But of course, there's another game that came out the same day, which was hilarious. And all the crossover memes have been brilliant with it.
Yeah.
But I've spent some time with Doom Eternal.
Yeah, ripping and tearing.
Tell you what, unforgiving. It just, and I'm playing on I think the hardest or second hardest difficulty.
Oh, yep.
Just the minute you make a mistake, that's it. It's all over. You have to be so perfect. And because I'm playing on my Xbox, because my PC definitely would not be able to handle Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
I miss the precision of mouse and keyboard. It's just not the same with the controller. I've got the Elite controller. It's the best goddamn controller that's ever been released. Sorry, fucking DualShock 4 fans. It's not a good controller. The Elite controller is fantastic, but even that I cannot like emphasize how much this game just does not forgive you for any single mistake. If you miss one enemy and turn your back, that's it. You are done. It's great though. Like the soundtrack is just amazing. It just reminds me how similar the worlds of dubstep and metal actually are. There's a lot of crossover there when it comes to like the way music is structured, and that just grinding sort of electronic metal soundtrack that just permeates every level of Doom is amazing. And like this game, once again, it's not for like, if you're a casual shooter fan, this will test you. Even on like the lower difficulties, this will test you. You need to be like a hardcore FPS sort of fan that's been playing this genre of game for a very long time, because it literally just, like, the game just starts and you are in a room full of demons straight away. There's no like, here's how to jump, here's how to shoot, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, yeah, you're in the game. This is it. You have a gun, there's the enemies, go. And just, it kicks off. So it's good though. It's really good fun. It's really good fun. Big fan of Doom. And yeah, it's definitely going to chew up some hours of mine, because I might even have to scale it back to the next level, like next level down of difficulty, just because like I am stuck in a spot right now where I'm just being swarmed by enemies and I just cannot manage to get through. Yeah, but definitely worth it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
When you mention the words like dubstep and metal, I think straight away back to Korn and Skrillex when they did their combination album.
It's better than that. But no, it's like the soundtrack, like literally just go on. I'm pretty sure it should be up on Spotify by now.
I just checked. It's not. Like there are Doom Eternal playlists, but it's all just the Doom, the 2016 Doom soundtrack with some other metal songs in it. I didn't see any official like proper OSTs.
Yeah, I found one it's the old Doom music, but even the first like Doom, 2016 Doom soundtrack is incredible.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is
ridiculous. So yeah, it is exactly what it advertises as. It is just insanity, blood, guts. All the glory kills are so satisfying to get when you're down an enemy and just go up and like stomp their head off or put your blade through their face. Or it's just it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
So how is like the one thing that always confused me from seeing all of the marketing surrounding Doom Eternal was how is its like is it like a traditional first person shooter, or like Doom 2016 I should say, in that it's got a campaign, you're moving like through a map from start to finish type of a thing, or is it more of a game as a service type of a thing?
No, it's definitely like a straight up just game. Just like, here is your objective, go to the objective. There's no loot boxes as far as I've seen. You gain weapons, and mods for those weapons as you go through the game.
Yeah.
So there's no incentive to like go out and buy like a battle pass or whatever the hell other games have these days. Because honestly, this is the first proper FPS I've bought since Doom 2016.
Yeah.
I've not bought a Battlefield or Call of Duty in that time. I've sort of fallen off those. Although I am thinking about checking out Warzone.
Yeah, Call of Duty Warzone. Yeah, that's the battle royale thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the free to play battle royale. I might check that out because it is free to play. I can just download. You don't need to own the latest Call of Duty game to play that. So I might just grab that if I've got time. But yeah, it's very much just like, you start with a shotgun and then you have to like find all of your weapons as you progress through the game. It's not handing you anything. You have to earn it. So it's very satisfying to actually have to go out and earn like your upgrades and your weapons and stuff in a game like this.
Yeah, so it's not like like what I was thinking was wasn't sure if it was something that was a bit more like Destiny 2, where it was sort of like you would constantly go back to a location and then move out to another map type of a thing, or is it like 2016 where you're moving from map to map to map?
Yeah, there's no hub world.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. That's what I mean. That's the bit that the marketing never really made clear is any of that stuff. And I'm like, why are they not making it just felt really vague on that aspect of it. And I'm like, why? Why not advertise like we are a no bullshit, like we're not fucking around. We're making a first person shooter. And if you've been playing first person shooters for 20 years, you know how to play this game and it's going to be good and you're going to get like that virtual hand job that you wanted. I don't understand why they just didn't make that clear.
Because I think that it now goes without saying that is what Doom is. Like
that's true.
You see Doom and you're like, okay, this is just an FPS where it's just putting as many mechanics in to make you feel as powerful and as ridiculously unstoppable as possible. And just like it just moves you from map to map to map to map to map. They may get to a point in the game later where there is like a hub world, because you do start off in your fortress, which is a floating citadel outside of like in the orbit of Earth.
Yeah, cool.
You may go back to that at some point, but for the time being, doesn't look like that at all. It's exactly what's advertised, and I don't need anything else. I just want something that's going to be fun. I can just sit down and play it over and over again. And yeah, it's like even like the levels where I've been stuck and have had to play multiple times to get through the levels. There's always like, oh, I didn't think of this, or I could have done that, or there's so many ways to go about defeating an area and clearing it of enemies.
Yeah.
And they do not wait long to chuck like the first like mini boss at you. It's like second level, and you're already like in mini boss territory, and then 2 levels later, that mini boss is now just a standard member of the sort of your enemy class. But by then, like you've upgraded to a point where like, okay, this mini boss, it took me like 5 or 6 goes to kill the first time I saw them. 2 levels later, it's like, oh, I can knock this bloke over in like 3 well-placed shots if I know what I'm doing. So it's very clever like that, where it slowly introduces you to new mechanics and new ways to play, and really makes you think about the way you got to attack an area. You are always moving, which is always the case with Doom, is like you need to keep moving. And that kind of introduces you, okay, I can double jump up to this sort of ledge and take out these guys and then jump back down, instead of like trying to run through them and just getting like taken out in one go. I can sort of flank them, take them out, move to that area. Like it does make you think a lot about how you attack an area. So you learn a lot with each death, which I think is a good thing, because a lot of games really don't allow you to learn why you've been killed. But this one, it's like, I know when I've fucked up, and I know, like I can tell like 5 to 10 seconds before I'm about to die that I'm about to die, because I'm just like, fuck, I didn't do this one thing, and then that's it. It's like game over. Right, back to the checkpoint, start again. Don't do that thing. Progress further, and then I'll do something else stupid. And it's like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. Dead. Restart. So it's rewarding in a way, but it's also unforgiving in another way. Like when you finish an area that you struggled on, it feels really good. But until you get to that point, it is unforgiving. It is just like any mistake you make, you're done. You are done.
I feel like buying this game now.
Well, there's no reason why you shouldn't.
It's just like it's exactly what's advertised. It's just demons. You are Doomslayer. You just got to kill them. Kill the demons. That's it. It's so much fun though.
And I feel like just for a contemporary audience, like I mean, you and I grew up playing like Doom and Wolfenstein and Quake back in the day, but for a more contemporary audience, I feel like just sort of like the way you've described Doom Eternal, I feel like draws a lot of comparisons to Dark Souls. And I know everybody goes, oh, the Dark Souls of this, the Dark Souls of that, when realistically it's actually Dark Souls is just the Doom formula applied to a third-person game.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, because the original Doom was like, there's not much of a story. You have to like uncover the story yourself. You're thrown into this world with no tutorial, no real mechanics on how you play the game. It was just like, all right, go. And that's very much like the Dark Souls formula. It was just like, all right, you're just in this world. No map, nothing. Like you just got to sort of understand it for you, like work the world out as you're understanding how to play the game. And once again, it is an unforgiving game that you make a mistake and it's going to cost you. And you got to go back and you got to understand what mistake you made to not do it the next time around.
Yeah. I love how Doom has turned around and become basically that game of it's like when you get thrown into the deep end for the very first time and you're basically being told by a swim instructor, I'm not helping you. You need to go and swim.
I never had a swim instructor that did that, buddy. Like it sounds like you just got abused.
Maybe one of your family members did that. It was like, hey, fucking swim, Michael. You got it. You'll be right.
Float, motherfucker, float.
Yeah, I'm sure my parents did that to me, but my swimming instructors definitely did not. They were a little bit more kind.
Yeah, but if people aren't interested in like Doom and stuff like that, and they don't have a Switch, and they want that more kind of like Animal Crossing vibe, a game I would absolutely recommend is My Time at Portia. It's a game I got out of a humble bundle like ages ago, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of kooky. I'll try it. It seemed like it felt like a 3D version of Stardew Valley. I don't know why I struggled to get that name out. It felt like a 3D version of Stardew Valley, and it really is. It's a really like kind of chill experience. It's not quite as like you're just vibing as Animal Crossing. There's like a little bit more to do because it's got that Stardew Valley time component. Like you've got so many hours in a day, and if you stay out too late, you'll just like pass out on the floor and then wake up in your bed. There's always something to do. Like you get up in the morning and there's like, your virtual wake up in the morning, I should say. And there's like always something for you to do. It's like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do the other thing. And you like try and, I also come from a little bit of a project management background. So it like completely triggers my project management brain. I'm like, I can do these 2 tasks concurrently and I can do this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And so it feels like it's a chill game. There's no like, the world's not going to end. You're not like, it's not stressing you out, but there's like things you can do and ways to occupy your entire mind through playing the game. But I think that's enough of video games for now. So by the way, final thoughts, Ricky, like Doom Eternal, you reckon that's one people should pick up?
Yeah, if you've played any previous Doom games, if you're a fan of just first-person shooters in general, and you want just a knockdown, drag-out, straight-up first-person shooter that is just exactly as advertised, check it out. It's like I said, it's gonna test you, but that is what good games do. And I've not really had a first-person shooter specifically, test me this much for a while. So definitely check it out.
So, Michael, you're our like music guy. Like, I feel like I know like Ricky has always got a music recommendation, and I know Dave listens to like the modern children's music, and I don't. I know I'm the weird one. I really do. But like in my mind, like whenever I think of like who do I want to talk to about music, Michael, you're the person I come to. Like in my mind.
I try my best.
And so like, I feel like just in terms of like finding things that are like chill to do, one of the things like last week I put up a bunch of recommendations of like things people can do. And I wanted to talk about music and like listening to music and sort of like kind of going back to like, describing like basically what my dad used to do back in the 70s. And that'd be like, you put on a record and you would just sit there and listen to it. And you would just, like sit on a couch or a beanbag or whatever and just close your eyes and just listen to it. And that's like, it's never something that I've fully appreciated doing just because that's not who I am. But I understand that there are people out there who are like that. And for the most part, our modern world never really gives us the time to sit down and do that. But now that everybody has the time to kind of sit down and listen to an album, Michael, is there any like new albums out there that you would recommend for people to listen to?
So probably the one off the top of my list right now is the brand new album from The Weeknd called After Hours. And this is another conversation I've had with Dave in the past where we both agree that The Weeknd has been putting out scintillating album after scintillating album. And this sort of follows on from Starboy, which was a fantastic, phenomenal album. It was groundbreaking for its time. It's one of those albums that you listen to it and you feel like it's way before its time. But After Hours is a completely new journey that The Weeknd takes you through. And there's a couple of songs on there which are really good. In Your Eyes is great. After Hours, which is the title track itself. And, of course, the song that's making the airwaves right now on the mainstream charts is called Blinding Lights. The Weeknd is probably my favorite artist out there right now, and he can't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, right. Like, would you recommend though? Like, what I'm saying is, like, as the entire album, would you recommend like an album from like track 1 to track 12 or whatever an album is these days? I don't know what it is. Like, would The Weeknd be an album you would recommend for like sitting down and listening to in its entirety?
Oh, 100%. Each song, it's sort of intertwines with each other, so they sort of link up from song to song, and it's one of those albums where you can listen to the entire album and it tells a completely different story. It tells the same story, but it tells it in different chapters. And basically you go on a 2-minute journey, a 3-minute journey, a 4-minute journey, a 5-minute journey with The Weeknd through every one of those songs. And you want to know what's happening at the next song and then the next song and the next song. It's sort of similar to when Fall Out Boy released their album Save Rock and Roll, where the entire album was all about the storytelling behind it. So basically track 1 connected to track 2, track 2 connected to track 3, etc., etc. This album right here is so similar to when I listened to Safe Rock and Roll by Fall Out Boy 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, right. Okay, so it really is. Yeah, it's definitely one of those albums that you can just like put on and just like sit back, close your eyes, and just listen to, and like that's an entire experience in and of itself.
100%. Ricky, what do you think of? You've heard probably some of the Weeknd stuff. You probably would agree that this album is sort of a bit more of a journey based than anything else you can ever listen to.
I've not listened to it.
Oh, really? I thought
only because
Yep.
Childish Gambino released an album last week.
Ooh,
and
he did indeed.
Yeah, it's called 3/15/20, which was the date it was released. Or the date it was recorded. I don't know, but it is like Childish is he's an artist. He's an artiste. He's an auteur. So each album title is literally the time code of when it starts on the album, except for 2 songs at the start. So the first title is called literally 0.00. There's a song called Algorithm, a song called Time, and then from that point onwards, each song is literally just the name of the timestamp of when that song starts. So the funny thing is, though, he managed to sneak in that song that he released last year with This Is America. What was it called? Summertime, something or other. Michael, help me out here.
There was This Is America. It was Redbone.
Hot Like Summer.
Endless Summer or something?
Feels Like Summer.
Feels like summer. Yeah.
Yeah. That is actually on this album as well, but it's not called Feels Like Summer. It's called, I think it's like 32-22 or 35-31. Like it's the same song, but it's no longer called Feels Like Summer. So because everyone's thinking like this is going to be the This Is America album that This Is America was on.
Right.
And the 2 other singles he released are on here, but This Is America is not. So he's held a few of these songs for a while, but a few of this might be a bit newer than usual. But I was listening to it on the way home from work the other day. It's great. If you're a fan of Childish Gambino, you're going to like this album. There's a lot of experimentation in there that is sort of harkens back to Awaken My Love. There is a little bit of stuff in there that reminds me of his Because of the Internet days. But for the most part, this is sort of a newer... And the thing is, he released it originally under Donald Glover and then a week later changed it to Childish Gambino because, he's an artist. But yeah, I really, really like this new album. Big fan of it. And also, I've been, like you said before, John, sitting back with a vinyl record and just chilling and just vibing, as it were. I have been doing a lot of that actually lately.
Well, this is the time for it. This is really, really the time for it. Like, and I feel like the reason why I wanted to suggest new music is because, like, obviously people at home, if they've got, they've got their collections. I mean, I don't know how many people still have like CD collections and stuff. I know vinyl collections are coming back. Like, I've got a vinyl collection and things like that.
Yeah. Mine's growing all the time.
Yeah. But like, just in terms of like new music, obviously, like, getting your hands on vinyl is a bit tricky at the moment because I feel like you can't buy vinyl online. Like, I know you can, but it's not the same. Like, you got to go to a record shop and you got to physically look at the fucking thing.
Like, flick through the records. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, buying it online is just not the same.
No, it's not.
Relatively sure that 2400, which are one of the more alternative metal places here in Melbourne, are still operating delivery.
Yeah, right.
They usually do. They're like indie, underground punk, Australian music sort of guys. So 2400 are still, they are still doing shipping. I don't know whether they're open or not, but if you like, Violent Soho, DZ Death Rays, Parkway Drive, Day to Remember, that sort of kind of music. Also, Violent Soho's new album is coming out exclusively through them now because there's is JB Hi-Fi still open?
Far as I know.
Okay, they're considered essential. Okay, well, 2400, they're still doing vinyl. I think, yeah, so if JB Hi-Fi is still open, you're probably going to JB and flick through vinyl there. But I know 2400 are still operating and they're doing a lot of, and they do like reprints as well. So if you want something from like 30, 40 years ago, you can find it from 2400 as long as it kind of fits in the metal alternative genre. I'm looking right now, they've got Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin. They got Evil Empire by Rage Against the Machine on vinyl ready to ship to your door. So if you want to boost up that collection while you're locked at home, then there is a way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my thought, sorry, Michael. My thought with the whole vinyl thing though really was just like I was suggesting new music just because it'll be available on Spotify. Like people can immediately after this episode just be like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to listen to an album. They can fire up their Spotify like by just like pressing the back button. If you're listening to us on Spotify, you can like press the back button and just like search the album and hit play and just like they're ready to go right now sort of a thing. But yeah, like sorry, Michael, what were you going to say?
I was actually going to say the one album I've actually got a bit of a guilty pleasure for, and I thought I would never listen to this album in its entirety, but because it's got a bit of Nine Inch Nails feeling about it, is 5 Seconds of Summer's new album, Calm. Like, there's a lot of industrial rock in this album, and I never thought I'd be saying that about a Five Sauce album in my entire life.
Yep.
Killing me. You're killing me with the Five Sauce.
You're not killing me because like I have no like ability to like condemn or praise it at all. I have no basis, no frame of reference.
All right, here's one for you. This got released this week as well. The Chats, the internet's favorite Aussie punk band, the guys that did Pub Feed, I'm on Smoko, etc. Yeah. They have released their first full-length album this week.
Oh my god!
It's called High Risk Behavior. So it's got songs you might know: The Clap, Identity Thief, or Identity Theft, Pub Feed, are all on. I'm on Smoko. Unfortunately, was only released as a single. But yeah, it's a 14-song album, and these are all classic punk length of about 3 minutes or less. So if you want a nice bit of Aussie punk music to tide you over, yeah, check that one out. The minute the Chats popped up on my radar, I just absorbed as much as I could off them because it's so like it's not that quintessential Australian that like overseas assume that we are like.
Yeah, it's not the Foster's beer can Aussies.
Yeah, this is proper quintessential Australia. Yeah. We need to show this to like America. Like the next big tourism promo shouldn't be Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban. It should be the fucking Chats.
Yeah. Come to Australia. I'm on Smoko. Fucking leave me alone.
Idea of what Australia is really like. Like watch one of their videos or watch like these guys, like their interview on the Today Show, like their morning show with
Carl Stefanovic.
Carl Stefanovic. Just so good, like so beautifully awkward. And it's like this is the new Australiana. This is what it's like. It's not Shrimp on the Barbie, Foster's, all that shit from the Paul Hogan days. It is this sort of weird love of, just essentially it's like real life shit posting some of the time. Like it's just like Australians are like really good IRL shit posters. That's kind of what we're like. And I don't know, man, like the Chats like sort of to me sort of embody that the real sort of what Australiana is right now.
It's like with Picket Palace, who made a couple of footy anthems last year, like Anthony McDonald, Tip of Woody, and Matthew Richardson. My God.
Yeah, the Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody song is amazing. And if anyone hasn't checked that out, Picket Fence, they do songs about AFL, which is Australian rules football. I'm missing it right now. I'm very sad it's gone. But yeah, once again, it's that, it's really tapping into actual Australian culture, not the culture that is sort of put out there to the world that this is what Australia is like. It's like, no. This is what Australia is like. We sing songs about footy and smoke and pub feeds.
Absolutely. And what people don't know as well, for those who want to know a trivia question here, pretty much Picket Palace were the act that were performing at the Legends game last year. So pretty much they were the pre-game and they were the halftime entertainment for the Legends game last year, that cringy Legends game that was played at Amy Park and everyone scored like 5 goals each, that one.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't.
But they were like the Picket Pals were good in it. Yeah, there's plenty of music out there.
I'm just looking at their top 5 songs on Spotify, and one of them's called "Mum Stole My Darts."
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna not only did that tickle my funny bone, but it kind of got me right. It got me right in the feels because I'm like, oh my God, I know that feel because that's happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, like they're top 5 songs on this is the Chats. The top 5 songs on Spotify: Smoko, Pub Feed, The Clap, Bus Money, Mum Stole My Darts.
And I love that their first album, I think it's their first one that was in 2017, is called Get This In Ya. It's like yeah, righto, mate.
Yeah.
My favorite Chat song is Dine and Dash. Dine and Dash is a good song.
Okay. Dine and Dash. Have you seen that they found the fucking bloke from the Succulent Chinese Meal ad? Oh,
did they?
Yes. So, John, you've seen the Succulent Chinese Meal guy, yes?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, my God. Okay. Everyone out there, please post this when this episode goes live. I'm going to send you a link in a moment. Anyone out there right now, pause this, go to YouTube and type in Succulent Chinese Meal.
I got up first thing that popped up on Google. Charles Dozer eating a meal, a succulent Chinese meal.
That's it. That is it. It is a bloke he was like a petty criminal. Like he used to dine and dash really nice restaurants, and he did it over and over again. They finally tracked him down, but there was some like mix up, and they thought that he was like this ridiculous like country hopping bloody like international criminal, right? Turns out he was just a bloke that used to like to jump out, like dine and dash and jump out on meals when he was supposed to pay for them. So there was this huge police force there to arrest this bloke. And his idea in his head was, if I act like an absolute insane person right now, they'll send me to like the psychiatric ward instead of taking me to the police station and locking me up overnight. Because in his mind, he's like, I can probably escape from the insane asylum pretty easily, but I can't escape from the lockup. So he goes nuts and starts talking in this really like hoity-toity, like, what are you doing? Get your hands off me. Like that sort of accent. And he's like, what is the crime? Is it eating a meal? Is it eating a succulent Chinese meal? How dare you? And then like to sort of, because he, like this is as they're trying to push him into the cop car. He just like turns around to one of the guys and goes, I see you know your judo well. And then to another person, he's like, oh, get your hands off my penis.
Yeah,
it is insane. It is so fucking funny. Like this whole video, like if you've never seen it, check it out. It is unreal. And then, so this bloke sort of went off and sort of, you know, had a bit of anonymity in his later years. And then he came back and the chats actually got him for the Dine and Dash music video. And then he popped up like 2 days later on Sportsbet. You know, Sportsbet do these really like involved ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, he popped up in one of those and he was telling the story of actually what happened that day in this Sportsbet ad. And he's now actually a very, very talented artist, and he sells like, he repaints bits, like single frames of the video and sells them.
Oh, nice.
It is just like, check out Succulent Chinese Meal on YouTube. Oh my, like it's so hard to explain, but just check it out. Because yeah, it's like the first thing you type in when you press succulent. It's brilliant.
It's
absolutely.
As I was Googling it, I typed in like SUCCL and then it went Succulent Chinese Meal. Is that what you want? And I'm like, yes, that is exactly what I want, Mr. Google. Thank you.
It is. It's the first one. Yeah, Charles Dosa, eating a meal, a succulent Chinese meal. That's the top one there. Yeah, it's.
I was just watching it as you described it, and oh my god, it's a bloody trip.
It is. Yeah, it is. Once again, it is a nice little like bit of Australiana that isn't like everyone would know about it. But yeah, those that sort of like understand this is like this is an Australian thing that, like, we hold on to very highly. Is like, it's up there with like, I'm just waiting for a mate. Because that is another one that's just hilarious.
Yeah. It's also I feel like a kind of a classic punk gimmick as well, though. Because I remember this is way back in the day. My dad was telling me about it. There was a punk band, and they went to South America and recorded a song with some of the guys who were involved in the Great Train Robbery. And they'd all pissed off to South America to, like, you know, escape extradition and stuff. And the punk band went and found them and went and recorded a track with them.
Well, I mean, that's you know, the root of punk is always anti-authoritarianism. So, you know, got to seek out those that have fought against authority.
God bless the Judas Priest and the Clash being the monikers of fuck the law.
Yeah, God bless the Clash. Great band. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, check out the Succulent Chinese Meal video on YouTube. You'll get a laugh out of it. It's bloody. It's so funny, and it's so Australian. It's so quintessentially Australian. I love it. I love it so much.
Oh my god. I think with well, actually no, before we go, just in terms of, like, you know, music stuff, like, even though I know we don't talk about it very much on Pint Party, because I mean, part of it is like I said, I suck with music. Although that being said, though, the challenge, the Instagram challenge thing that people are doing, that song, the synthwave song, I saw like Dave posted one the other day. I can't remember the name of the song now off the top of my head, but that synthwave track.
Is this a TikTok thing?
No. Well, no. Dave was doing it on Instagram, and I've seen other people post similar.
Yeah, it's the blinding light dance.
The blinding light dance. Yeah.
TikTok.
Oh, is it a TikTok thing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, David doesn't have TikTok yet, but from all I hear, he's been like sold on TikTok, so he might be getting it. Which, yeah.
Well, don't wait. That will be examined a lot more on Yang and Tomo this coming week. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you filmed it out the front of your studio. But like, I just thought it was interesting that, like, you know, most people, like, you know, synthwave is like, that's my kind of genre of music. That's what I regularly listen to. And I just thought it was interesting that sort of like, you know, like everybody was like, oh my God, what a banger this tune. I'm like, I've been listening to that tune for years now. And everybody's suddenly like, oh my God, what a banger. But if you're into like other kinds of music other than synthwave, sorry, I didn't mean to get myself into a tangent. Yang and Tomo, which is like another sort of Hard Effects type of a thing. It's a podcast as well, but it's also a live radio show. So Michael, you want to tell us like where people can listen to Yang and Tomo?
So you can listen to us every Friday from midday on 88.3 Southern FM, southernfm.com.au, or if you're on your mobile phone, you can download the TuneIn app and just type in Southern FM and we'll be coming through your headphones that way.
It's probably more important that people like, you know, suss the TuneIn app thing, just because like, I mean, if you're in Melbourne, you can listen to it on your regular old radio, but like if you're outside of Melbourne, then the only way to listen to Yang and Tomo live would be through the TuneIn app, I would imagine.
Absolutely, it is. And normally we would have Ricky jump in for some movie reviews, but unfortunately the cinemas closed at the moment, so we can't do that at the moment.
I'm trying to, like, maybe this week I'm going to spend a bit of time scoping through Netflix to see if there's any little gems on there I can review this Friday for you. But at this point, I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting when all these movies actually come out. It'd be fun if they put them all on the same weekend.
Well, that's what Hangout's for. So we'll be speaking to you via Hangouts, so at least Yang can listen to and hear you as well from the Blue Studio.
Hangout. How many right now? Like if stuff like Discord and that was like paid for, or like Skype or whatever, they would be doing gangbusters right now.
Technically, you can pay for Skype, just nobody does.
You can. Yeah, just not. Why the fuck would you?
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's so many of these, like, you know, over the internet chat room apps that just must have had so many downloads in the last like fortnight, when it was all sort of becoming real and people were just like, oh, I can't talk to my friends. Well, now I've got Discord, and I was in the same boat because I didn't have Discord until we had to do it like this. So I wonder what I saw the metrics on that is like, just this huge spike at the end of March for all these companies being like, fuck it. Imagine if we had to like charge them $1.
Yeah, well, technically you can pay for Slack as well. Or no, but you don't pay for Slack until you get to like enterprise level. Like Slack's business model is you don't pay for us until you have something like 1,000 people on your Slack or something like that. And then you pay for it as like a business thing. And it's and it's pricey, but like if you've got that many people and you're using it from a business sense, it's actually not that expensive from a business. But for an individual, it's like, fuck off, that's a lot of money.
Well, once again, it's just a write-off.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been trying to work out how to do Zoom. Everyone's on Zoom.
That's what I was going to say. House party?
That was House Party.
There's a House Party app where it's like Skype. Pretty much you can have up to 8 people in the one app, and you can basically have drinks with them over House Party.
That's actually genius.
But hang on, so how is that different to Skype then? Like, what is it?
It's specifically for drinking.
Yep, it's basically a thing that a lot of people use to basically go, stuff it. Let's go to House Party and let's just jump on the app and let's drink together. Even though if you can get up to 8 people, cool. But if you need more than 8 people, then that's where Skype is there, because Skype, I think, is unlimited from memory. Ricky, you could probably tell me if that's true or not, because you're more of the computer G, or John.
I don't know. The only time I've ever used Skype was to talk to you. So I've only ever used it for one person.
Yeah, me too. I the only time I used it for more than one person, it was audio only, because we were playing League of Legends. Like, this is like before Discord was a thing. I'm just looking at the House Party website right now, and it just seems like it seems like what they've done is they've kind of like made a more visually good-looking version of Skype, like in terms of like having multiple people and cameras and stuff. It's all, they've made it all look really good, which is probably great for like if we wanted to do like a video episode or something. I feel like House Party would probably be the way to go. What's this? House Party and Epic Games announcement. Oh, hello. Are we going to have the hot news here on Pint Party right now? Because okay. House Party is part of Epic Games now. There you go.
What?
They got acquired, it looks like. So okay. What does this mean for House Party? There is no change to House Party. You can access as you normally would. You keep your friends. But if you've got an Epic Games account, no, they're not different. Okay, nope, just classic Silicon Valley stuff. They had a hot setup and a company's bought them, so they got bought. They're now part of Epic Games. There you go. That's House Party. That's the hot news here on Pint Party. And with that, I think we'll leave it there. I want to thank my guests for joining me today over the interwebs, Ricky Needs and Michael Thompson. Boys, thank you.
It's been fun.
Hang on. Grabbing my guitar. I'm going to play us out.
Oh, okay. Well, before you play us out, then I just want to say, if you like this episode, please tell 2 friends in 2020. Don't forget to hit that follow button on Spotify or subscribe on iTunes, or I think it's just Apple Podcasts now. I think that change has now officially come through.
I think it is podcast now.
Yeah. I think they've now finally separated it all out. Except for Windows. If you're on Windows and you're using iTunes for podcasts, it's still just iTunes. That hasn't changed.
If you're on Windows and you're still using iTunes for podcasts, maybe just switch to Spotify.
Yeah. So please tell 2 friends and check us out on Instagram at pint.party, where we're always posting, kind of gimmicks and stuff like that. And don't forget, if you want to, if you're looking for something to watch kind of in the afternoon that's pretty chill, something you can put on in the background, kind of like white noise, we've got a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Pint Party. I'm going to be playing SimCity 2000 throughout the week, kind of in the afternoons, around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock-ish, till, for a couple hours, probably till only about 5 o'clock. But if you want something to put on in the background that's pretty chill, that's what I'm going to be doing. Is I'm going to be playing SimCity 2000 and kind of talking my way through playing the game and stuff. I'm kind of basically doing a let's play, but it was in a really chill way. So by all means, hit the follow button on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Pint Party. And with that, this has been Pint Party. Cheers, Ricky. Play us out.
Play us out. I have no idea if my guitar's in tune, but here we go. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, tell 2 friends. Should have thought of lyrics, but I didn't.
Stick to drumming, Ricky.
Yeah, I know I should. All right, bye.
This podcast is part of the Hartefact Podcast Network. For more of this and our other podcasts, head to hartefactstudios.com.au.